testing. Alright. Good there. Don't do that. Don't do that. I would like to have that in front of the camera. That was a lower third here. Yeah, I've been messing around with my system, with my systems lately, so. Before we get started here, let me quick recording check. You know, always make sure to check your settings before you get started. Good housekeeping. Testing. 1, 2, 3. Alright. Pause that recording. Check it real quick. There's one other thing here I need to do. Hold on here. Gotta relaunch something else. There we go. Turns the brightness a little bit. Alright. Alright. Well, it's recording. That's good. Let's get the picture back up here. Get the camera in front of me. Background show. We're a little washed out. So let's go down a little. Let's change this one right here. The white. I don't need to be orange. There needs to be no orange people in the world. Especially ones with political ambition. Let's see. Alright. Looking good. Center ourselves on the picture a little bit more. Quick test.
Roger, roger.
Okay. Switch. DC's fine. This is fine. Show end is fine. Fine. Fine, fine. people think it weird that I have an X-wing in the shot the entire show? Bend over there. All right. That means here we go. Tap the camera over. Put a little bug there on the screen. We switch it back to pre-show. Alright, I think we're ready for some magic. Not much I'm going to say here at the top of the show, because I don't really have much to say. It's a cold, rainy day. Luckily all the snow missed us. So, we've got that going for us today. So, I'm going to get on here. Let's see, my camera over, my stuff over here. Open this up. And 1, 2, this is how we do. Testing. There we go. I was paranoid about that. Okay. And tonight, Star Trek Picard Season 2 goes into production, a book about the Skywalkers, and we remember actress Mira Furlan. All that and more on the sci-fi edition of Multiverse Tonight. Comic books, sci-fi, fantasy, and more. If you're looking for a roundup of geeky news, you're in the right place. This is Multiverse Tonight. And here's your host, Thomas Townley. Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 110 of Multiverse Tonight. I'm, of course, your host, Thomas Townley. There's not really a lot to talk about here at the beginning of the show. There's some late-breaking news I could throw in here. There's a live-action Harry Potter TV series in the works over at HBO Max. According to the Hollywood Reporter, it did say the conversations are in the early stages and there's no writers or talent or anything else. It's basically just, they want to make a Harry Potter series. So there's that. There's also the news that just broke that that NBC's Peacock will be the exclusive home for WWE Network content going forward, which means that the WWE Network app will be going away here apparently in March. So that'll be interesting. The most concerning thing about that to me is Peacock isn't yet on HBO on Amazon Fire TV. So really, maybe this will be enough that Amazon will finally say okay and relent and get the service on Fire TV. Other than that, this is a good thing. This actually makes things cheaper for a lot of us. Rather than having to spend that $9.99 to get the WWE Network, now we will just have to pay for NBC's Peacock app, and that's actually cheaper. That's actually $49.99 just for an entire year, so it's way cheaper. Other than that, there's nothing really going here down home. Today is cold and wet, and I've just been waiting around, waiting for the eventualities, especially getting a COVID-19 vaccine. I think we're getting close to the people in my group, which would be people who work in retail, stuff like that, vaccines, so we're keeping an eye out for that. Other than that, let's go ahead and start with some Star Trek news. Star Trek news today begins with Star Trek Discovery and what became of Saru after Discovery's third season. Now, if you haven't watched the season, you may want to skip ahead a few minutes, you know. But if you don't care, then plow right on ahead here. Uh, what we get is a final log entry that's been revealed on the Star Trek Logs Instagram account. The log reads, quote, "My final Starfleet log for now. I've relinquished command of the Discovery so that I may accompany Sakul to Kaminar. A difficult decision, to be sure, but I have no doubt it is the right one. Adjusting life outside the nebula will not be easy for him, especially as the repercussions of the burn become clear. I will help him acclimate into Kaminar society, ensure he feels safe and cared for, however long that takes, and I know I leave Discovery in excellent hands. Michael is more than a capable officer, she is my dear friend. I have no doubt she will exceed all expectations as captain. I cannot deny that I am quite eager to rediscover my home world, and I am also comforted knowing that when I am ready to return to the stars, Discovery will be there. Until then." Unquote. Now, Saru is expected to return for season 4, so it kind of begs the question whether season 4 will take place, like many, you know, months after the events of the season finale. Frankly, maybe it'd be a good idea to advance their future timeline by several years. So you start the new season with, say, the Federation's been brought back up to, say, 100 worlds. They've managed to port over the Discovery's spore drive system to dozens of vessels. So, the need for dilithium isn't as great. I think that'd be a good idea. But anyway, there was also a log put out for Michael Burnham, and it forecasts what season 4 will probably be about. Quote, "One of the last before I have the privilege of calling myself captain. I am beyond lucky, beyond grateful to be her right now. To be able to serve with this crew, this family, my new home. The burn took a toll across the galaxy, planets cut off from each other, loved ones separated, too many lives lost. But we finally have the answers we need. Now we can rebuild, reconnect, heal. I'm so proud to have been a part of that, and I can't wait to see what we accomplish moving forward. It's up to all of us, to leave the past behind, to step out of the darkness and into the light. I believe we can do it. We are the Federation. I believe that together we can do anything." Unquote. Yeah, I just hope that in season 4 she's not the end-all and be-all of the Federation, which is what she's been the past 3 seasons. But that's just a personal dislike for the character. Anyway, let's talk about Star Trek Picard a little bit. Star Trek Picard is set to go into production next month, and apparently Sir Patrick is hard at work on the scripts. He told GoldDerby.com, quote, "We are in the middle of this pandemic, but still season 2 of Picard is going forward." Now, he also added that he's got the first 5 scripts of the show and different drafts of these scripts, and spends hours every day with them, unquote. The actor is also busy writing his memoirs and doing another passion project, quote, "I do jigsaw puzzles. That's one of my passions. I finished The Last Supper 2 nights ago, and it was one of the best moments of my life," unquote. He chuckles. He also said that he's very hopeful to get back to work, but he's saying, quote, "But all the while inside, I know I have to work. That's what I'm here for. That's my job. I want a script in my hand. I want actors in front of me," unquote. And I hope to see that very soon. By the way, did you catch especially on the AFC Championship game last night, that they had a commercial for Paramount Plus with that featured Christopher Pike and Spock in it. So, are they trying to hint that when Paramount Plus launches in a couple of months, that the Strange New Worlds show will be one of its first shows. Well, we can always hope. Anyway, that takes us out of Star Trek news. Let's go on to the Star Wars news.
Roger, Roger.
Now, Star Wars, we have a big congratulations here are in order to James Earl Jones on his 90th birthday. He's just 9 years behind Betty White. So that's some good news there. Rogue One's Felicity Jones reflected on her character's final moments in an interview with The Hollywood Reporter. Now, apparently, that final scene as Andor and Jyn watch the destruction coming in from the Death Star, apparently that one shot took a whole week to shoot. Felicity Jones told the reporter, quote, "We shot it every single evening over a week to get the right light of sunset, to get the perfect pink light so we knew that scene inside and out by the end of the week. It was just amazing to see how it morphed and shifted and changed. We shot that film in a very visceral, naturalistic, gritty way, which I think is why so many people responded to it. I think they loved that it felt so real and had elements of the 70s Star Wars films that had that similar feel of naturalism and reality," unquote. Right now, you can see Felicity in the Netflix movie Midnight Sky. A newly reformed Lucasfilm Games will join with Ubisoft's Massive Entertainment for a brand new open world game. The title is called The Division. New title will come from The Division 2, and the crew's Julian Garrity as creative director, and will use Massive Snowdrop engine. However, no other details are yet forthcoming, so watch this space. Electronic Arts still has a few games on their slate, though. This even after it was announced that a new Star Trek game is coming. A Star Wars game is coming from a newly reformed Lucasfilm game in partnership with Ubisoft's Massive Entertainment, which we just talked about. Douglas Riley, vice president of Lucasfilm Games, said in a statement that the end of the exclusivity deal with EA doesn't mean the end of Lucasfilm's work with EA. He said, quote, "We're really proud of the games we have created with EA. We will continue working with them, and our relationship has never been stronger. While we may not have a lot of details to share at the moment, we've got a number of projects underway with the talented teams at EA," unquote. Lucasfilm has announced a brand new biography of the Skywalker family called Skywalker, A Family at War, written by Kristen Baver. This book will examine the triumphs and tribulations of the Skywalkers by studying the movies, canon novels, comics, and other materials. The book will quote, "This Skywalker story has everything: passion, intrigue, heroism, and dark deeds. This revelatory biography explores every twist and turn of the Skywalker dynasty. The slow seduction to the dark side of Anakin, his doomed marriage to Padme Amidala, the heroics of Luke and Leia, the fall and redemption of Han Solo and Princess Leia's son Ben, and the struggles of his dyad in the Force, Rey, leaving no stone unturned in tracing the dynasty's trials and tribulations. This definitive biography of Star Wars' first family explores and explains the deeper and more personal story of the Skywalkers, their characters, motivations, and against seemingly impossible odds, their ultimate triumph," unquote. Now, according to the synopsis provided by DK Publishing, Baver told StarWars.com, quote, "I'm so thrilled to be able to tell the story of the Skywalkers through the lens of a biographer. From the outset, I knew I wanted to treat the family as if they were real people with compassion and empathy, while simultaneously crafting an unflinching portrait of their accomplishments and their failures. These characters are larger than life, yet so fragile and unmistakably human, and that comes into focus when you study how their actions impact the greater galaxy and their family. When I first saw Star Wars as a kid, I watched the movies over and over, always looking for something I hadn't noticed before in the storytelling. Essentially, I wrote the book I wish I would have had during that time, when I was hungry to know everything I could learn about these characters, unquote. Now, the book will come out on April 6th, 2021. And now, we'll take a second. We'll take a second to pause, and we'll go on to the geek news.
This episode is powered by Poddex. Poddex are unique interview questions and episode starting prompts in the palm of your hand. So whether you're a new podcaster or existing broadcaster looking to grow your audience and have more meaningful conversations, you're going to want to check out Poddex. Now, if you want to get 10% off your order right now, you can go to poddex.com and type in coupon code
Multiverse.
What's the code?
Multiverse.
Yes, that's the code. Check out poddex.com. Take your podcast to the next level.
All right, thanks, me. Now we start geek news today with a character that I really love. Buckaroo Banzai is coming back in a new sequel novel from Buckaroo Banzai across the 8th Dimension screenwriter E.M. Rausch. The novel, which will be published by Dark Horse, is called Buckaroo Banzai Against the World Crime League et al., a compendium of evils. The description of the book reads, quote, "Still mourning the losses of his beloved Penny Pretty and his surrogate father, Professor Haikita, Buckaroo Banzai must also contend with the constant threat of attack from his immortal nemesis, Hanoi Zan, ruthless leader of the World Crime League. To make matters worse, Planet 10 warrior queen John M. Dahl has sent her Lectroid legions against Earth with a brutal ultimatum. Or is her true target Buckaroo Banzai? As the apocalyptic threats continue to mount, only Buckaroo and his Hong Kong Cavaliers stand in the way of global destruction. Or in the words of one of the movie's iconic lines, laugh a while you can, monkey boy," unquote. The 544-page hardcover prose novel will be released on August 10th, 2021, 37 years after Buckaroo Banzai first came to the theaters. I can't wait for that. I hope they have an audio adaptation, because I really don't have time to read, but I will. I would love to listen to it. So. Movie shifting news: the prequel to Kingsman: The King's Man has been moved back to August 20th. Now, it was previously supposed to be due out this March 12th. Disney has also moved the Bob's Burgers movie off the calendar for now. It had previously been set for April 9th. The horror movie Antlers now has a release date of October 29th. And Sony has announced that Ghostbusters Afterlife has again been pushed back and will now hit theaters on November 11th of 2021. And the Jared Leto movie starring Morbius movie will also be getting another pushback and is now set for next January. Of course, these dates are, of course, subject to move. Your mileage may vary. Watch your local listings, etc., etc., etc. Now, some sad news. Mira Furlan has passed away this past Wednesday. Now, Mira is best known for her role of Minbari Ambassador Delan on the 90s sci-fi series Babylon 5, and later for her role as Danielle Russo on Lost. Mira was born in the former Yugoslavia and emigrated to the United States in 1991. In 1993, she got the role of Minbari Ambassador to the Space UN that is Babylon 5. The show would have a 5-year run and as well several made-for-TV movies. She also voiced the character of Silver Sable on the 90s Spider-Man the Animated Series. Now, her next big role was on the show Lost, playing Danielle Rousseau, the character that had been shipwrecked on the island 16 years before the crash of Oceanic Flight 815. Now, she had plenty of other acting credits as well. Babylon 5 creator J. Michael Straczynski eulogized Mira best on Twitter. Now, due to its length, I'm not going to read the whole thing, but I'm going to read this part to you. Quote, "Mira was a good and kind woman, a stunningly talented performer, and a friend to everyone in the cast and crew of Babylon 5, and we are all devastated by the news. The cast members, with whom she was especially close since the show's end, will need room to process this moment, so please be gentle if they are unresponsive for a time. We have been down this road too often, and it only gets harder if you are a fan of Mira's work. Fire up those special moments when she shook the heavens, and relive the art she brought to her work. For any actor, that is the best tribute possible, for the work to endure. As much as this is a time to grieve, it is also a time to celebrate her life and her courage. All thoughts tonight will be on the memories she left behind, the dazzling light of her performances, the breadth of her talent, and the heart and love she shared with Goran and with all of you. With the cause of her passing, now, unquote. The cause of her passing has yet to come forward, but apparently she's been unwell for quite some time. She is survived by her husband, Goran Gajic, and their son, Marko Lav Gajic. Mira Furlan was 65 years old. And that brings us to the end of the sci-fi news. Now, now please check us out on social media. We're at Twitter, at Multiverse Tom. We're also on Facebook and Instagram as well. And if you'd like to contribute some money to the show, check out some show notes, visit our TeePublic store, and much more, just head over to the brand new multiversetonight.com. We have links where you can support us. We have the affiliate marketplace and so much more. Now, if you're a subscriber, please be sure to share us with friends and family. And if you're brand new to the show, please hit that subscribe button. And while you're at it, you can leave us with some feedback. Let me know how we're doing. Now, special thanks to Shane Ivers for our intro music and Lobo Loco for the outro theme music. Thanks for watching the sci-fi edition of Multiverse Tonight. We'll be back in 2 days with a brand new comic book edition and 2 weeks with a new sci-fi edition. Now, please, exit the universe in an orderly fashion. Good night. Sci-Fi Multiverse Tonight is a production of Half-Baked Genre Productions, copyright 2021. All rights reserved.
Strange new worlds, interstellar war, time travel, wormholes, positronic brains and philosophy, ethical dilemmas and social crises. I'm Glenn McDormand, host of Lower Decks, a Star Trek podcast. Join me and my friend Valerie Hoagland as we seek out new life and new civilizations, examine our own society's reflection in Star Trek's critical mirror, and invent Trek-themed cocktails, one random episode of Star Trek at a time. Listen to Lower Decks, a Star Trek podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, or wherever you get your podcasts. And come find us and our other shows on claytemplemedia.com. Live long and prosper.
Alright, that finishes that. This was our mini deck. No, you can't see it, folks, on this side. I've upgraded my Stream Deck. I've gotten the bigger Stream Deck XL here, so I have more buttons. I haven't like filled them out yet. Pretty sparse, but I've basically set it up so that each section has its own set of buttons. So hopefully in the future I can fill it out with, say, sound effects that I need, or if I'm doing something that I need a video to come up, I have it all set. So very nice, very cool. But let's get on and do the comic book edition. Alrighty then. Alright. This is how we do. Tonight, the Snyder Cut is gonna be a long one. Black Widow moves to the West Coast, and movies on the move. All that and more on the comic edition of Multiverse Tonight. Comic books, sci-fi, fantasy, and more. If you're looking for a roundup of geeky news, you're in the right place. This is Multiverse Tonight. And here's your host, Thomas Townley. Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 111 of Multiverse Tonight. This is, of course, the comics edition. Now, I'll say at the outset here, it's a cold, rainy day at the end of January. We're getting closer here towards spring, which I'm very happy about. I kind of like spring. I kind of get tired of the grass being yellow. But there's, I don't really have much to say here at the beginning. It's a few weeks till my birthday. Hey, you want to get me a birthday present? Why not donate some money? Help defray the costs of doing this show. By the way, I have a brand new website up. Just go over to multiversetonight.com. This one, I've gone away from WordPress and gone with pod pages. They're very easy. The best thing I like about this is I don't have to create a post every time for a new episode. It automatically, when it's posted, puts it on the page. So I like that. That is nice. That is simple. That is easy to use. Anyway, we have some news, of course. I scour the interwebs to find you the finest of news. So let's start off with some DC Comics news. On Vero, Zack Snyder revealed that the Snyder Cut of Justice League will be a 4-hour movie. Not broken into a miniseries like some expected, a 4-hour movie. Folks, I'm not happy about that. There are very, very few movies that I'm willing to sit through a 4-hour cut of. The Lord of the Rings. Lord of the Rings is a good movie that's 4 hours long. 2001: A Space Odyssey feels like it's 4 hours long. So is Star Trek: The Motionless Picture. But there are very few I want to actually sit through. So I'm sure you, along with the rest of us, are probably going to break this down into like a part 1 and a part 2. It'll just be easier on all of us. So let's hope they come to their senses and maybe put, like, right at the 2-hour mark, an intermission card, so you can stop right there, go do something else, and then come back and watch the rest of it. Now, a poster and a release date have not been put out, but those are expected to be released soon. Now, speaking of the Snyder Cut, Harry Lennox has confirmed that he will play the Martian Manhunter in the extended version of Justice League. The Blacklist actor told Collider.com that his character of General Swanwick was the first in the first 2 Snyder Superman films was secretly John Jones in disguise all along. Apparently, he didn't even know that his character was the Martian Manhunter. Lennox is thrilled to be a part of Justice League, saying, quote, "It's going to be great to be up there with Batman and Superman and my pals. Yeah, I'm once again like a kid at the candy store, unquote. Now, Warner Media has issued a statement in regards to Ray Fisher's post about being removed from the Flash movie. The statement, which was released on Twitter on January 13th, is long, so let's just summarize this the best we can. I have received official confirmation that Warner Brothers Pictures has decided to remove me from the cast of The Flash, he began. I strongly disagree with their decision, but is one that is unsurprising. Despite the misconception, Cyborg's involvement in The Flash was much larger than a cameo, and will do more in the lost opportunity to bring Victor Stone back to the screen. Bringing awareness to the actions of Walter Hamada will prove to be much more important contribution to our world. He then goes on to list basically, his reasons, the investigation that he wanted. Now, I'll pick it up here later in the statement. Bear in mind, Walter Hamada interfering with the Justice League investigation is a complete separate issue than the investigation itself. And while Walter's behavior was not a point of focus for the investigation of the Justice League reshoots, his dangerous and enabling actions during the investigation process must be called to account, unquote. Now, needless to say, that this means that Ray is done playing Cyborg in any future DCEU movies. However, Warner Media's response says, quote, as has been previously stated, an extensive investigation was conducted by an outside law firm led by a former federal judge who has assured Warner Media that there were no impediments to the investigation. Last summer, Mr. Fisher was offered the opportunity to reprise his role as Cyborg in The Flash, giving his statement that he will not participate in any film associated with Mr. Hamada. Our production is now moving on. Warner Brothers remains in business with Jeff Johns, who continues to produce Stargirl, Batman, Batwoman, Doom Patrol, Superman, Lois, and Titans for the studio, among other projects. Unquote. Now, in a separate statement, studio head Ann Sarnoff said, quote, I believe in Walter Hamada and that he did not impede or interfere in the investigation. Furthermore, I have full confidence that in this investigation's process and findings, Walter is a well-respected leader, known by his colleagues, peers, and me as a man of great character and integrity. As said in Walter's recent deal extension announcement, I'm glad about where he's been taking DC films and look forward to working with him and the rest of the team to build out the DC multiverse, unquote. Now, what do you at home make of this? Write in and tell me, what do you think of Ray Fisher's allegations and the response from the DC universe? Because I don't really have a dog in this hunt. This seems like back and forth between two parties, so I really have no thoughts on the matter. Anyway, the world of DC Comics will cross paths with the world of the anime team of RWBY, that's RWBY exclamation point. The crossover will take place in a 7-issue miniseries that will give the Justice Leaguers an anime makeover, including Bruce Wayne with actual bat ears. Here's an official description, quote, RWBY Justice League introduces fans of manga and superheroes to the Bruce Wayne, Clark Kent, and Diana Prince of Remnant. Fighting with Team RWBY, a new Grim is running rampant across the island of Patch, and Ruby and Yang must team up with a young red and blue clad farm boy to stop it. Meanwhile, Blake meets a mysterious woman who suddenly appeared on Menagerie, but her purpose for being there remains a secret. And why does she act like she hasn't been around modern society? Written by Marguerite Bennett, Future State, Kara Zor-El, Superwoman, RWBY, DC Comics Bombshells, and featuring art by Aneki, Future State Batgirls, Stephanie Pepper, The Mummy, and Emmanuel Lupacino, Future State Gotham City Sirens and Birds of Prey. This 7-issue monthly series brings Team RWBY face to face with DC's Paragon of Justice. Unquote. Now, we move on to some more news. Titan's third season will see Savannah Welch portray GCPD Police Commissioner Barbara Gordon, according to an exclusive to Variety. This Babs is still in a wheelchair after being paralyzed by the Joker and has a combative relationship with Bruce Wayne. Her life will be getting complicated when Dick Grayson returns to Gotham, rekindling feelings of their old romance, and we'll see them starting up a new crime-fighting partnership. Now, Welch is known for the History Channel military drama 6, and she is an actual amputee, having lost one of her legs in an accident in 2016. The new DC Universe app, DC Universe Infinite, is launching on January 21st. Now, this is DC's new premium digital comic book service and community, and will launch with 25,000 comics and graphic novels from Vertigo, DC, DC Black Label, and Milestone Media, and we'll also see new releases put on the service after just a 6-month wait after physical release. So please, go to those comic book stores first. It's available on iOS and Android for $7.99 or $75.99 a year. The John Cena starring Peacemaker series has started filming, according to filmmaker James Gunn. Quote, 5 months ago, while quarantining, I was almost done editing The Suicide Squad and had just turned in a draft of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 and was awaiting notes. Normally, I would try and take a break during this time and go on vacation, but with COVID, that wasn't happening. So having nothing else to do, I started writing a TV series, mostly for fun, as I didn't believe it was ever going to happen. I wrote the whole first season in just 8 weeks, and now here I am in my trailer on the first day of shooting. Life is surreal. Let's go and go safely. Unquote. Now, Peacemaker doesn't have an expected release date, but it should come out on HBO Max sometime in 2022. The movie it's based upon, The Suicide Squad, comes out this August 6th. Batman has a new crime-fighting partner, Scooby-Doo and Shaggy. Ruh-roh. DC has announced a new comic book series, Batman and Scooby-Doo Mysteries, from writers Ivan Cohen and Shelley Fish, with art from Dario Brizella and Randy Elliott. The new series will feature original team-up stories with the Dark Knight Detective and Scooby, Shaggy, Velma, Daphne, and Fred. The stories will come out first via digital in 24 chapters and then be released in April in comic book stores. The first chapters will be released digitally on March 27th, and the physical release will be on April 13th. Superman and Lois will be getting a 90-minute series premiere with a special half-hour special tacked on to celebrate the network's first official Superman show. The series will launch on Tuesday, February 23rd. Now this means, however, that the Flash season premiere will be pushed back to March 2nd, instead of that February 23rd. Sorry, Flash. With the inauguration of President Joseph R. Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris, coupled with a 50-50 Senate, means that the Democratic Party now is in control over the United States Senate. With that, Senator Patrick Leahy of Vermont, the longest-serving member of the Senate, is now the Senate President pro tem. Now, Senator Leahy, a lifelong fan of Batman, is now the third in presidential line of succession. Mr. Leahy has appeared in 5 Batman movies: Batman Forever, Batman Robin, The Dark Knight Rises, and Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice, as well as an appearance in Batman the Animated Series. Leahy donates all the income from film and TV appearances to the Kellogg Hubbard Library. The $150,000 he made from the Dark Knight trilogy funded a new wing. Congratulations to Senator Leahy. Now, that brings us to the end of the Marvel comic news. Let's go on, or DC comic news. Let's go on to the Marvel comic news. Black Widow is getting a new costume and a new hometown in the comics. Black Widow number 6 sees Natasha Romanoff moving to San Francisco with a new black costume with red accents and a hood. The costume was designed by Elena Casagrande, who in a statement said, quote, "I created Nat's new costume working with a full team with Kelly and Sarah, writer and editor. The first directives were to add high-tech elements and think of Nat as a vigilante, but at the same time not to weigh her down, visually speaking, and still maintain the lines of the classic Romita and Sam Neill costume. I immediately appreciated the idea of thinking of her suit as a suit that enhances her strength, that has a technology that makes her more powerful and resistant. We realized the idea through the red lines on the hips, which, when Nat uses it at full capacity, light up. Another directive was not to make its logo hidden, not immediately visible. And even here, in the end, I did a job of reduction rather than illusion. I started getting inspired by the motocross and parachuting suits, and then streamlined their appearance and approached the Widow's most classic outfits. The gadget that we kept, however, was the jacket with hood and parachute on the back, in fact, to give her sort of mask on her face, and to make it easier for her to move between the skyscrapers of San Francisco." Unquote. Chris Evans is currently in talks with Marvel Studios to return to the role of Captain America. Now, how Captain America would fit into the post-Endgame Marvel Universe is unknown. It could take place in the, or will take place in the past, the present. That's completely unknown. The only bit is that we have is that he's in talks to return to the role. So take that for what you will. Moon Knight has a brand new castmate as May Calmaway will join Oscar Isaac in the Disney Plus series. Now, May is best known for Hulu's Raimi. It is unknown what role she'll play. The show will start production in Budapest in March. Also, casting news, Disney Plus's She-Hulk has a new co-star. Ginger Gonzaga will join series star Tatiana Maslany on the legal comedy series. Now on Twitter, Ginger posted, quote, "I'm beyond excited to join hashtag She-Hulk. We will be directed by hashtag Cat Cairo. Chairman Gao is gifting us her hilarious writing, and I get to run amok with the insanely talented hashtag Tatiana Maslany. Thanks at Marvel and at Disney Plus for your support and having me in the fam. Get ready, it's awesome." Unquote. Now, no word on what character she'll be playing, but it's been speculated that she'll be playing the role of Jill Stevens. So, how far out is the Marvel Cinematic Universe planned? Well, during an interview with Collider, Marvel Studios head Kevin Feige said, quote, "To varying degrees of specificity, it's always about 5 to 6 years out versus what we've announced," Feige said. So, whatever that takes us to. Unquote. Now, of course, that's subject to change, especially with COVID and the fears that COVID might redouble, and we might have rolling periods of having to do things. As of right now, Marvel has known plans that go out to 2026. So hold on to your calendars. Marvel Studios has announced a what-if-style Spider-Man miniseries called Spider-Man: Spider's Shadow from writer Chip Zdarsky and artist Pasquale Ferry with colorist Matt Hollingsworth. The series, called What If Peter Parker Became Venom, will keep the black symbiont. The series will be a what if Peter Parker became Venom and kept the black symbiote instead of casting it out. In the press release, we'll see in the press release, Zdarsky said, quote, "I'm thrilled to be kicking off a new era of what-if stories with this tale of a Spider-Man gone bad. How bad will he be? Will he have a goatee? No hyphen in his name? Pick up issue 1 to find out. But seriously, I feel that Spider's Shadow, well, we're exploring some dark situations with Spidey and the Marvel Universe, while making it cool and fun to read. I think longtime fans will love it, and new readers will be amazed at what Marvel lets us do. Pasquale and Matt are producing amazing work on this book. When every page comes in, I share them with all of my friends, even though Marvel says I'm not allowed to do that." Unquote. The 4-part miniseries goes on sale in April. Well, I hope he signed all his friends to an NDA. Yeah, I wouldn't. I'd be worried about any getting in trouble with Disney. Marvel Studios is looking back, way back, all the way to 1996's Heroes Reborn. The House of Ideas has announced a sequel to the series with just a title card that says Heroes Reborn, Whatever Happened to Earth's Mightiest Heroes, and the cryptic Coming this April. Heroes Reborn was a miniseries that took the heroes like the Fantastic Four, Captain America, and Iron Man out of the standard 616 universe and put them in a pocket universe that was created by Franklin Richards. So what could this be? I guess we'll find out. Michael Douglas will be back for the next Ant-Man movie, as the actor has started hyping the movie that's not due until 2022. The actor posted a tweet of himself from the first Ant-Man movie with the caption, quote, "Time to grow the goatee. Hank Pym is back. Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania coming in 2022," unquote. Now, 2022 will be a busy year for Marvel fans, with Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, Captain Marvel 2, Black Panther 2, and Thor: Love and Thunder all due out that year. Now, let's go on to the geek news. Fortnite creator Epic Games is getting in the animated picture biz with a grant to make an animated Gilgamesh movie. The developer is giving this grant via their Epic Mega Grants program to Latin America studio Hookup and Argentinian Duramaevela and Film Sharks. The game, which will use Epic's Unreal Engine to render the story of the king turned deity Gilgamesh that was immortalized in the epic Mesopotamian poem. The Epic of Gilgamesh is said to have influenced Homer's Odyssey and the Iliad. Now, this film will be made into an English and Spanish language versions. Animation vet Kirk Wise, who has worked on such Disney films as Beauty and the Beast and The Hunchback of Notre Dame, has signed on to direct a new animated movie from newcomer Enderby Entertainment called Sunny. Sunny will be about a boy named Sunny who must learn to control his emotions because they control the sun. Wise, in a statement, said, quote, "Sometimes a single sentence is enough to win me over when it comes to ideas that I think are uniquely suited to the animation medium, and Sunny passed that test with flying colors. I couldn't be more excited to help the Enderby team bring this story to audiences all over the world," unquote. Jim Gaffigan has joined the cast of Disney's live-action Peter Pan and Wendy movie. The comedian will play Captain Hook's right-hand man, Mr. Smee. Gaffigan joins Alexander Maloney as Peter Pan, Blackish's Yara Shahidi as Tinkerbell, Ever Anderson as Wendy, and Alyssa Wampanoag as Tiger Lily. Netflix has bought the animated movie originally called The Mitchells vs. the Machines from Sony Pictures. Now, the movie had been renamed Connected by Sony, but with the sale, it's reverted to its original name. The movie, from Phil Lord and Christopher Miller, follows the adventures of an everyday family struggle to relate with each other when technology rises up around the world. The family centers on Katie, voiced by Abby Jacobson, a creative type who gets accepted into her dream film school. Now, before she begins college, her dad, played by Danny McBride, decides that driving her to school is the perfect opportunity to bond as a family one last time. But as they unplug and hit the road, technology threatens their trip and the Earth. Now, the voice cast is also rounded out by Maya Rudolph, Eric Andre, Olivia Colman, and Doug the Pug. Will Allegra and Louis Koo, Tin Luke, will be executive producing the film, while Kurt Albrecht will serve as producer. No release date has been given. Robert Kirkman's Invisible animated series has a premiere date. The hour-long series will premiere on Amazon Plus on March 26th in more than 250 countries and territories worldwide. The first 3 episodes will be out that day, with a new episode following on every Friday until the season finale on April 30th. The series, based on the comic of the same name, revolves around the 17-year-old son of the most powerful superhero on the planet. However, his worldview is shattered when he learns that his father's heroic legacy might not be that heroic. The state of Oklahoma might recognize a season for hunting Bigfoot if a new bill proposed in the Oklahoma State House makes it into law. Republican State Representative Justin Humphrey filed the bill, House Bill 1648, which would direct the Oklahoma Wildlife Conservation Division to establish an annual season requiring hunting licenses and fees. Now, Mr. Humphrey says he doesn't want the creature killed. Instead, he wants the legendary beast trapped and a $25,000 bounty for the first person to capture it. The district Humphrey represents is in southwest Oklahoma and has an annual Bigfoot festival each first weekend in October that raises money for a scholarship. The state representative hopes that the bill will lead to increased tourism. In other words, it's a gimmick, folk. Don't write the state of Oklahoma, protesting this. It's just a tourism, thing. So be cool. Apple TV has unveiled a trailer and premiere date for its upcoming series, The Snoopy Show, a new original series from Peanuts and Wild Brain, which will feature the lovable dog and his avian friend. Set to make its Apple TV global debut on February 5th, 2021, The Snoopy Show sees Snoopy and Woodstock take a number of new adventures. Now, the series will feature the titular Beagle and his various personas, including Joe Cool, the Masked Marvel, and the World War I Flying Ace, and also consists of 3 7-minute cartoons based on the iconic comic series, with cherished Peanuts characters set to appear include Charlie Brown, Lucy, Linus, Franklin, Schroeder, and Peppermint Patty. Writer Brian K. Vaughan revealed in an Instagram post recently that he and fellow creator Fiona Staples are returning to work on Saga. Now, the pair have been taking a hiatus from the comic book series for nearly 3 years now. They said in the post, quote, "Fiona and I are still hard at work on Saga, and we remain hugely appreciative of the 4 of you left who haven't completely lost patience with our extended intermission. Hard to believe as it may seem, I promise these new issues will be worth the wait," unquote. Now, back in 2018, Vaughn revealed that the series was only at the halfway point. Paramount Animation has optioned the film rights to Tom Wheeler's upcoming book series, COSMOS, Wheeler, Cosmos Wheeler. Wheeler has been tapped to write the adaptation. Cosmos is described as, quote, Men in Black meets Willy Wonka with a shout-out to Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, and an epic mind-bending adventure that celebrates curiosity, diversity, and the power of science to save our world, unquote. Now, according to Studio Insiders, the first book in the series, The Doomsday Vault, isn't scheduled to hit store shelves till March 15th, 2022. So, that must be one good pitch. Now, we close the comic book news tapes with a little bit of sad news. Siegfried Fischbacher, the other half of the magic act of Siegfried and Roy, passed away on January 13th. Fischbacher's death came just months after Roy Horn, his partner, died from COVID-19 complications at the age of 75. Siegfried was born in Germany in 1939. His love of magic compelled him to become an entertainer on a cruise ship. That's where he met his magic partner, Roy Horn, beginning a 50-year partnership. Their act would go on to change Las Vegas entertainment and changing the city from a gambling destination to much more of an entertainment wonderland. In 2003, the show abruptly ended when the 380-pound white tiger named Manticore that was used in the act attacked Roy Horn on stage. They finally retired for good in 2010. Siegfried Fischbacher died of pancreatic cancer. He was 81 years old. And that...
Strange new worlds, interstellar war, time travel, wormholes, positronic brains and philosophy, ethical dilemmas and social crises. I'm Glenn McDorman, host of Lower Decks, a Star Trek podcast.
If you'd like to contribute some money or check out the show notes, or visit the TeePublic store, or do much more, go to the brand new multiversetonight.com. I just relaunched the page this past week, so it's very nice. Go check it out. Now, if you are upset,
Strange new worlds, interstellar war, time travel, wormholes, positronic brains and philosophy, ethical dilemmas and social crises. I'm Glenn McDorman, host of Lower Decks, a Star Trek podcast. Join me and my friend Valerie Hoagland as we seek out new life and new civilizations, examine our own society's reflection in Star Trek's critical mirror, and invent Trek-themed cocktails, one random episode of Star Trek at a time. Listen to Lower Decks, a Star Trek podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Multiverse Tonight is a production of Half-Baked Genre Productions, copyright 2021, all rights reserved. Well, folks, that does it for this time around. Everyone's been wondering what I've been playing with in my hand here. This is a little LED light. It's a USB powered LED light. By the way, if you hear my tumbly rumbling, it's because I need to go get some lunch. So, thank you for watching, and we'll see you back here